of plague, each with distinct symptoms. Bubonic plague. This is the most common form. It is typically transmitted by the bite of an infected flea or contact with an infected animal. The bacteria multiply in a lymph node, causing it to become swollen, painful, and tender. These swollen lymph nodes are called buboes. Other symptoms include fever, headache, chills, and weakness. Septicemic plague. This form occurs when the bacteria multiply in the bloodstream. It can develop from untreated bubonic plague or as the initial symptom of the disease. Septicemic plague symptoms include fever, chills, extreme weakness, abdominal pain, shock, and bleeding into the skin and other organs. Tissues, especially on the fingers, toes, and nose, may turn black and die. Pneumonic plague. This is the most serious and least common form. It occurs when the bacteria infect the lungs, leading to a rapidly developing pneumonia. Symptoms include fever, headache, weakness, chest pain, and a cough that may produce bloody or watery mucus. Pneumonic plague can be spread from person to person through infectious droplets in the air, from coughing or sneezing, and is almost always fatal without early treatment. History. Plague has caused devastating pandemics throughout history, with 3 major waves recorded. The Plague of Justinian, 541–750 CE. This pandemic originated in Africa and spread across the Byzantine Empire and the Mediterranean. The Black Death, 1347–1351. This is the most well-known plague pandemic. It originated in Asia and swept through Europe, killing an estimated 25 million people, a significant portion of the continent's population. The Third Pandemic, 1894. This wave began in Yunnan, China, and spread globally, reaching Hong Kong and India, and eventually the United States. Treatment and prevention. Plague is treatable with antibiotics, but early diagnosis and treatment are crucial to prevent serious illness or death. Treatment. Antibiotics like gentamicin, doxycycline, and ciprofloxacin are effective. Treatment is often initiated in a hospital setting. Prevention. The best way to prevent plague is to reduce contact with rodents and their fleas. This includes wearing gloves when handling or skinning animals, especially in plague-endemic areas, using insect repellent to protect against flea bites, keeping pets free of fleas and preventing them from roaming freely in areas with rodent populations, making homes and outbuildings rodent-proof. A vaccine for plague is no longer available in the United States. Comparing plague and cancer is like comparing a lightning strike to a long-term illness. They are fundamentally different types of diseases, with different timelines, causes, and impacts. Acute versus chronic disease. Plague is an acute infectious disease. It progresses extremely rapidly, and if left untreated, can be fatal in a matter of days. The danger of plague, particularly in its pneumonic and septicemic forms, is its swift, overwhelming nature. Without timely medical intervention, antibiotics, the case fatality rate for untreated plague can be very high, approaching 100% for pneumonic plague. Cancer is a chronic, non-communicable disease. It involves the uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells. While some cancers are very aggressive and can lead to death quickly, many others progress over years or even decades. The risk and severity of cancer depend heavily on the type of cancer, its stage at diagnosis, and the effectiveness of treatment. Treatment and outcomes. Plague is highly treatable with antibiotics. With prompt diagnosis and treatment, the mortality rate drops significantly. The challenge is the speed at which it can become deadly, making early intervention critical. Cancer treatment is often a long and arduous process involving surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, and immunotherapy. While there have been tremendous advances in cancer treatment, it remains a leading cause of death worldwide. The long-term effects of cancer and its treatments can be significant, including chronic pain, fatigue, and other health issues. Global impact. Plague has caused some of the most devastating pandemics in human history, like the Black Death, which killed a huge portion of the European population in a short time. However, due to modern sanitation and antibiotics, it is now rare in most parts of the world, though it still occurs. Cancer is a leading cause of death globally, with millions of new cases diagnosed each year. It is a, quote, silent pandemic, in that its incidence and mortality have been steadily increasing due to factors like aging populations and lifestyle changes. In short, from a historical and societal perspective, plague's capacity for rapid, massive devastation has been worse in a pandemic context. However, in the modern world, cancer is responsible for a far greater number of deaths and long-term suffering. The danger of plague lies in its speed and lethality if not treated immediately, while the danger of cancer lies in its chronic, pervasive, and often unpredictable nature. The plague is caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. It happens when this bacterium, which lives naturally in populations of small mammals and their fleas, is transmitted to humans. How it spreads. Plague spreads through a cycle involving rodents and fleas. 1. Rodent hosts, the Y. pestis bacteria, are carried by fleas that live on wild rodents, like rats, mice, and marmots. These animals can be a natural reservoir for the bacteria. 2. Flea transmission. When a flea bites an infected rodent, it ingests the bacteria. The bacteria multiply in the flea's gut, sometimes blocking it. 3. Human infection. The flea then bites a human. Because its gut is blocked, the flea regurgitates the bacteria into the bite wound, infecting the person. Humans can also get plague by handling the body of an infected animal, or, less commonly, by inhaling infectious droplets from a person or animal with pneumonic plague. Historical pandemics. The most famous plague happened on a massive scale due to specific historical and environmental conditions. The Black Death, for example, was a pandemic that originated in Central Asia. It spread along trade routes to Europe and other parts of the world. The crowded, unsanitary conditions in medieval cities provided an ideal environment for rats to thrive, and the close proximity of people and rats facilitated the spread of the disease from the infected fleas.